listening to Wise Women with Lisa Brookman and Liz Wiener on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800. Brought to you by Access Medica. Medical aesthetic treatments for the best you. Click on accessmedica.ca.
We hope you're enjoying your Sunday evening. You're listening to Wise Women on News Talk Radio CJAD 800 with Liz and Lisa. We are an educator and a psychotherapist. And we are the founders of wisewomencanada.com, a website where we love to share stories that fascinate, inspire, and empower us. And on that note, we have a fascinating guest in our studio tonight, and her name is Kim Vergil. She is an artist with an amazing story of her own, in that Kim's artwork is, would you say, inspired by your dreams or a projection of your dreams, or how would you say
I think
it?
It's all mixed up in
all
that
mixed
soup.
up together.
Mixed up in that soup for sure.
All together. And we were just talking during the commercials about how you have some very important advice for kids, for parents whose children are dealing with nightmares. And
Absolutely.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and Lisa, you were saying something about one of your children having
so
nightmares.
my little one came into my room the other day. He remembers his dreams quite vividly, and he came in to tell me that he was very upset. He had a dream that my husband and I were not around, and he was living in a world with just him and his brother and his sister, and there were no adults. And he was very, very upset by it. And, you know, it was early in the morning. He was getting off to school. And to be honest, we didn't end up picking up the conversation again. But I will after the segment tomorrow, because I think it's really important. So
Absolutely.
How do you deal with kids who are having these nightmares? And, you know, what should you be saying to your children?
I think a huge part of dealing with dreams, and what I've learned, is that a big part of it is nobody should hold dreams inside. A big part of it is saying it, getting it out there.
So call a friend, talk to your parents, somebody.
Exactly.
Tell them.
Or write it down. Even.
Write it down is huge, but exactly. Talking to somebody, because it's like taking the monster out and putting it on the table so we can all see it.
Except
and that's
sometimes
great.
our dreams are so bizarre. I often call Lisa to talk to her about my dreams.
That's awesome.
But sometimes they're really, really weird.
But you know what? It's a symbolic coded language. And once you understand your own personal dictionary about it, it doesn't become strange and bizarre anymore.
Okay.
That's what's so cool about it. But it's a matter of learning. It's like decoding. It's like learning Japanese.
I
because
love that.
things don't mean what you think they do. Each symbol, each thing you see has a real important significance. So back to the kids thing, because I really would like to share that with people before we this all disappears for tonight. With kids, I think it's really important to realize that listen to the dream. You don't have to be an analyst. You don't have to know what it means, but allow the child to realize that they created the dream. Like adults, we are in charge of it. You're the script writer. You picked the scenery. You picked all the characters. You wrote it. You designed it. It's yours. You don't like the ending? Change it. And I think that's so empowering for all of us as a life lesson. If you don't like it, make the decision to change it and change up the endings.
So are you changing this mid-dream, or are you changing
you've
it
woken
for
up.
the next time you dream?
Yep, you've woken up. And you don't like where it's ended, so you don't stay there. So for a child, what's really important is to change it up, but to make it funny. So let me give you an example, which my son had. He always had this dream about an alligator running after him, and he was running and running, and you can't run fast enough, and it's getting closer and so scary. So I said, okay, and he's woken up, and he's in bed with us, and we're all, he's shaking, and so he tells me the story. I said, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to finish this dream. So all your pockets, they're filled with bubble gum, and you throw it over your shoulders. Come on, as you're running, let's just throw that bubble gum. And of course he's chomping his chops together, and he blows this great big bubble, and he floats away, and he falls into a puddle of chocolate. And guess what? You have sprinkles in your pocket, and you just throw that on that crocodile. Because it doesn't look scary anymore. So it's very empowering. With children, it's really important to not kind of take out the knife and let them slay the dragon, because that just gets more and more scary, but to just let them be playful and help them, because often they're so terrified they can't. And I like to think that that's very true for adults having nightmares. We will have nightmares till the day we die. We do for the rest of our life. So it's really important to just kind of be able to say, this is my dream. I'm taking charge of it. I don't like that I died at this page of the dream. I don't want to fall off the cliff. So when I jump off the cliff, I actually grow wings and I fly off to the beautiful island somewhere. You just have fun with your imagination.
I love that.
So it's taking ownership and rewriting the script is basically what we're doing.
There you go.
That's amazing.
And let me ask you a quick question, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but if you are having a cycle of bad dreams, does it mean that you have difficult times going on in your everyday life when you're awake?
I think if you've got heavy dreams coming at you, you're problem solving and your dreams are trying to help you through it. Lainey Delphin will say that every dream has the answer encoded within it. You've done the work. Basically, it's done. You've just got to kind of figure it out. And so it's a matter of learning to digest that. And, many famous people have woken up and said, I got it. I worked on it all night. I got the answer. So yes, I would say if you were having a lot of heavy dreams, there's something that you're working on. And let's play that a bit. So I think I asked you when we were talking about it, something happens in your, dream, whatever, so-and-so, let's just be imaginative here. And you see a raccoon in the dream. And somebody says, oh, well, that's right. I saw a raccoon when I was walking down the street today. And you go, yeah, but you picked the raccoon for a reason because you also saw a cat in the street. You also, maybe you saw a horse on TV and you heard the birds outside. You picked the raccoon for a reason. It's got a symbolic meaning. So if I was to throw it out to you ladies, what would you say if a raccoon... Now, what I do when I get a character show up in a dream, whether it's a person or an animal, it can be anything actually, is you say, what's the 3 characteristics of that thing? So...
Of a raccoon.
Yeah. Just don't think too hard.
Scavenger.
How about...
Destructive.
So what I would say
we're going to add in cute.
And cute.
We do love animals on this show.
There you go.
Add cute into it too.
There you go. And so I would say that if I was working on something, I'd say, okay, what is it that I'm working on in my life? It could be work, previous 24 to 48 hours, life in family life. What is it that if I was maybe a little cuter, if I was a little bit more... What was
scavenger?
Maybe if I was a bit like if I use my scavenging resources or techniques, I could dig a little deeper in what I'm working on. And what was
mine was destructive.
Destructive. Sometimes you need to be a little destructive to be constructive. So maybe you have to break down a wall or do something destructive. So it's interesting when you start to look at these things in terms of characters and symbols that it's kind of wrapped up in one.
Using a different lens.
Yep, totally.
I love that.
And so how my artwork, just to bring that back into the mix here, is I go along and I take photographs of everything I see in my life. I've been using a camera all the time. I've got the latest cell phone, that Nokia Lumia, that's got great megapixels, and I'm whipping it out all the time. So I take the photography of my life, and then that becomes the raw symbolic material that I work with, and I create these random collages on a canvas. Then I end up, because you can't make a dream with only raw symbolic imagery. You actually have to put emotional energy into it. So for me, the emotional energy becomes the paint. And so I use 3 colors that are kind of inspired from the collage that I've created. And a collage is very random. It's not an organized collage. It's very random. And then I put the paint on. And again, I try to stay very random. And I'm absolutely terrified every time I make a canvas that I'm not going to find what I want to find or what I need to find. And in the end, I've learned to be very trusting of this process, because I stand back and sometimes it takes a couple of days. Sometimes it takes a really good couple of glasses of wine or that really dark coffee in the morning, or I take off my glasses, or I just totally give up, walk out of the room. And then I kind of slide by the image and I kind of go, oh my God, I got you. There you are. And once I've found something, and I think you guys, I don't know if you remember at the opening of Access Medica, did you see anything in the images? Because so many people have said, oh my God, I saw a horse and I saw a person.
Did. And I remember looking at one of your canvases, and Lisa and I both saw different things in one particular one.
And they're both right. I want you to know. That's what's so cool. It's like dream work when you put it out there. And that's what I've done. I've put it out there. All the answers are right because it's coming from you. And for me, I just feel that these works become portals to the imagination. And so often abstract work is kind of left to be like, just don't interact with it. And I'm kind of more like, hey, that's cloud gazing we all get to do and say, oh my God, it looks like a hippopotamus. What do you see? And it's all different. Well, that's what I feel with my artwork. It's really a chance to kind of say, what do you see? Have fun with it and just let your imagination run wild.
That's amazing. Kim, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your fascinating story. How can people find you? Take a look at your artwork and your latest exhibition that's coming up.
Yes, my latest show is coming up at Gallery EK Volant in the Complexe Canal La Chine. The show's going to open on the 30th of November and go through till the 4th of December. On the Saturday afternoon, we're going to have a vernissage, and you can check me out on my website at www.kimvergil, that's VERGIL.com, and on my Facebook at Artist Kim Vergil. And Instagram has a big part to play in my artwork. The next show coming up is called Day Residue, and it's all about the images from every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, Kim. And now a look at the roads with Lauren Glazer.